Once the VFD is done, then we'll wire up the motor. You know, we'll connect the motor wires to the SOOW Cord wires. So let's get started with the VFD now. Alright, I cleaned off the bench, got everything ready for the next operation here, which is going to be to wire up the VFD. We got plenty of length for the cord coming out of the lathe, and it's going to get wired into the VFD. Got a small length here that's going to be meant as the little pigtail, right? So this will go into the VFD, and I'm going to wire the plug to it, so we'll plug right into the outlet box next to it. So let's get started on that. Pop that in there. Nice and tight. I don't want this falling out. Make sure you put all your, your bushings and everything else that goes for the wire onto your wire before you start shoring up the plug here. And then this will come together. And here's our finished plug. Now we have to wire this into the VFD. So I'm going to Alright, now to wire up the plug into the VFD, red is going to go to L1, black will go to L2, white is clipped, and then green will go to ground. PE is ground. I think it stands for physical earth. Alright, I just put the wire bushing on. Okay, this is the first piece. Whoop, I got it backwards. This little clip. And then the main bushing. I had to spray this with a little bit of WD. It just was not cooperating whatsoever. Tight fit. I gotta do it. Looks like I gotta hit it again with a little bit. Put our wires up into the VFD. I think I'm going to have to cut this. Yep, I'm going to have to cut this wire bushing down a little tiny bit. It's kind of protruding. Let me show you what's going on in there. If you'll notice, right over there's like a piece of plastic. Let me turn it. Yeah, you can see that now. The depth of that plastic. The wire bushing's hitting it. So I'm going to bring it over to the bandsaw, cut it down a little bit, and I'll be right back. Alright, I've cut the wire bushing down, and I cut the wires. I sized them a little bit better because they were obviously very long. So we're going to just pop these guys in there. We're going to put the nut on to secure the wire bushing. And then we'll wire in the terminals. Alright, we're going to do L1 first. And this ought to be pretty straightforward. Putting it right into L1, and you clamp it right down. Same thing goes for L2. Now when you unscrew these screws, there's like a little plate, and it rises with the screw, and it rises. You could stick the wire in, and then as you screw it down, the plate just crushes down onto it, locking it in. And now ground. Now this is going to have to be joined with the other ground from the motor side. But for now, I'm going to just pop that in place and cinch it down. All right. There you have it. L1 is red, L2 is black, and green is ground. Okay, on to the motor side now. Alright, I went ahead and I wired in the motor side now, and pretty much the same exact thing. I cut the wire bushing down, trimmed up the wires, installed them. Alright, so that's what it looks like. On the motor side, the red goes to U, black goes to V, and white goes to W, and the green gets tapped in as well to the ground. So we're just going to put the cover on it right now really quick so no dust or dirt gets in there. And that's what our VFD is looking like right now. And this side right here is the little pigtail that will go to the wall and plug in. One of the things that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to install a right-hand plug. Because sticking this in, it protrudes out, and I'd rather have it the wire hang down a lot cleaner. So that's going to be a change that I'm going to do. Maybe not on camera, but definitely going to do that. So let's get ready now, and we'll go and we'll wire in the motor to the SOOW cord down at the motor. Alright, now what I did is I just kind of wired these just temporary, just to make sure everything worked good. And I'm going to show you now what I did. So here's the wiring diagram. We're going to get wires 6, 5, and 4, and we're going to pair them off with a wire tie and just kind of set them aside. Number 9 goes with number 3, number 8 goes with number 2, number 7 goes with number 1. 9 and 2 is going to get connected to L1, 8 and 2 goes to L2, 7 and 1 goes to L3. Alright, so I've done that here, and but what I want to do is I just want to shorten the wires, and of course ground gets put to ground, which is already in place. So we're going to go here with pair 2 and 8, and what I want to do is I just want to trim down, the motor wires because they're a little long. In fact, I could probably... You know what it is? I don't like clipping the wires that come with the motor. I just don't want to do that. So let's strip these guys down and put them back. Alright, and this is just the 4, 5, and 6. So let's push all this spaghetti back in. That's nice. Nice clean installation. I'm also going to put this on the back side of the lathe. Alright, we got everything done here. Let's move the camera. We'll plug the VFD in and we'll see if everything works.
it's going to work.
Ah, behold, it's ramping. It's taking a long time to ramp up, but it's going. It's up to speed now, 60 hertz. All right, good. All right, it's time to wire up the control box now. Now I've taken Stan's drawing and I've just kind of redrew it to make it a little bit more camera friendly here. So in essence, what we have here is three components. We have a forward and reverse switch, we have a 10K speed pot, and we have an emergency stop, ESTOP. So the 10K, we'll start with the 10K pot. The middle wiper goes to terminal 5. I don't know 100% sure if either one matters, but you know, this terminal will go to terminal 2, and this this lug will go to terminal 2. This lug goes to terminal 6. I got lucky. I wired it all, and it worked fine. I don't know what happens if you swap 6 and 2 out. I don't know. Maybe if you turn it up, the speed will go down and vice versa. So it's just a matter of swapping it out, if provided it doesn't work. But I do know that the middle wiper goes to terminal 5. Easy enough. The ESTOP, one leg simply wires right up into terminal 1. You have to create a jumper from terminal 1 to terminal 4, which is denoted right here. Okay, so it's just a simple jumper, but the jumper will be up at the VFD, but I'm just trying to show you the diagram, the circuit. The other leg of the ESTOP will come into the forward and the reverse switch. Now you have a switch here for reverse and a switch here for forward. What needs to happen on the electrical switch is a bridge needs to be made, a jumper, in order to make this pole and this pole. And I hope I'm saying that right, so everyone who knows a lot about motors, if I'm saying it wrong, please don't beat me up too badly, but this has to become common. Okay, so the ESTOP comes in and it becomes common. And the reason for that is if this is closed and the motor is operating in forward, and then you have a brake, when the ESTOP is pressed, basically you have a brake in here, and it will break the switch here, or it will break the switch when it's in reverse. So that's why this becomes common. Then the other leg of the switch, the other pole of the switch from the reverse goes to 13B of the VFD, and the forward gets wired to the 13A of the VFD. So this is the drawing here. This is the diagram we're going to go on. And now let's get to the actual switch here. So what I've done was trying to explain this with the switch in play, or with the diagram in place. From the ESTOP to the we need to make the two poles of the switch common. Okay, so we have the jumper here. Here's one switch and here's the other switch. Forward, reverse. This is the forward. This is the reverse. So now we've created a jumper, so now one pole in each is common, and we've wired in the ESTOP, the leg of the ESTOP. So now all we have to do is from this ESTOP we're going to wire into the to 1 and 4 with the jumper at the VFD, and then these three we're going to just bring them out and they're going to get wired in. So let's wire this up now with the wire that I got. I have some thermostat wire here. This is 18-3, so there's 3 wires in here, 18 gauge. So I'm going to create, this will go to the pot, to the 10K pot, and then I'm going to cut another length of it, and that's going to be the these guys right here, the forward and reverse, and the one leg off the ESTOP. This was about 29 cents a foot at Lowe's. That's where I got it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to wire in the what you call the 10K pot. I'll also provide a list of all the part numbers that I've used. I got all these parts at Galco online. The box, the switch, forward and reverse switch, and the ESTOP. You'll need a little tiny screwdriver to get into these little terminals. Red, green, and white. Now they got little tabs on here that fit inside this box, and it will lock them in, you know, at like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. So, you know, you just got to look and see where you want your orientation to be. And that's how it looks. Now, talking to Stan, he was telling me to be aware of something, that this cable should be shielded because it can pick up noise, RF noise. So, yes, I should have gotten some shielded cable, but this was inexpensive. However, being the guitar player that I am, I have shielding tape. When I was building a Fender Stratocaster, a custom one, I had to shield out the whole pickup cavity, so this is going to come in handy. And it is copper shielding. Copper shielding tape, that is. Let's start with, I don't know. Okay. I'm going to just wrap this wire. So I'm just straightening out the cable as best I could. And then just wrapping it. I'd be willing to bet that this is better shielding than comes with most shielded cable. If you want this shielded tape, you could get it at a company called Stewart McDonald. They're a luthier company, you know, for building guitars. It's just straight up copper shielding tape. And while you're at it, build yourself a custom Stratocaster. Alright, so here we go. Finished product. Alright, let's wire up now the ESTOP. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm just straightening this wire out, because this is solid core wire. It's like thermostat wire. Okay, we need one wire from the ESTOP. So I'm going to strip off about up to here. So in honor of this being an emergency stop, we're going to put red as our color of choice into the ESTOP. And tighten her down. Now we can, we can't test it yet because I don't have anything wired in yet. Okay, the next one is going to be the forward and reverse switch, and we need a leg off of each terminal. Simple, very simple to do. We could even put this guy right in place now. Move this. This is called a terminal block, and it just pops right onto the switch like that. It's got a little push handle, and it lifts right off. And I think it'll be something like that. We're just going to insert that right into the little terminal block. And tighten her down. Make sure it doesn't come out. You know, give yourself a little bit of room here. I don't want to wire this too tight. Give a little bit of flexibility for it to move. Say these things come out. They're so small. And there you have it, folks. We got our 2 wires coming off of our ESTOP. We got our 3 coming off of our 10K speed pot. And then the 2 terminals coming off of the forward and reverse switch. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to run this through a liquid tight conduit that's connected to the VFD. So let's take a look at what we got with that. Alright, so what I did here is I mounted the box onto the old, I kind of retrofitted the old mount that held the drum switch onto this, onto the back gear cover here. So I did a little bit of machining, drilled some holes and whatnot, and I have this thing mounted tight now. We've got our liquid tight over to the VFD, and now what we're going to do is we're going to snake the wires through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these connectors out because there's like a little lip on there, and the wire most likely is going to have a little trouble trying to get through. So okay. One thing you want to do is write down what colors went to where, which is what I didn't do, so I have no idea what I'm going to be wiring to. Reverse is white. Write that down. Forward is green. Green is the middle wiper. White is number 2. Red is number 6. The ESTOP that goes to number 1 is red. And we need to create a jumper. Alright, we got our cables stripped here now. And what I'm making now is the jumper from 1 to 4. So basically I just put this here. I held, I sized it up, I held it, and just bent the wire. So now I'm just cutting it. And this is just some excess that I had from the wire. Alright, so here's our little tiny jumper. And the first thing that's going to have to happen on that is it's going to go into 4 and then 1, and I need the red wire, this red wire right here. So let's strip this guy. Alright, so there's the jumper in place. We'll screw 4 down. One's in place, and this has to share. Now I'm using this thermostat wire, this solid core, because of this purpose and this purpose exactly. It just goes right in. You don't have any wires fraying or nothing like that. So now what we created right there is this portion where my thumb is trying to hold this up, but that little junction right there, so it goes into 4 and into 1. So the ESTOP is wired in now. Now the next thing we're going to have to wire in will be the 10K pot. I'll do the forward and reverse. Might as well. I'm right here. So white, which is the reverse, is going to go to 13B. That looks like C. There we go. 13B. Okay. And again, you know, you could make this somewhat artistic if you want, which I always like a clean looking installation. So something like that. And then green, we'll go to 13A. It's a little bit big, which is fine. We'll just trim her down. This solid core, it just strips beautifully. Push it up into there. And tighten down 13A. Okay. Now our pot, and if I remember correctly, green is in the middle, white is on the left. And that goes into 2. No, that's not 2. My eyes are bad. 2. 5. Come on, baby. Get in there. And 6. not screwing 6. And there you have it. Let's plug this in and give it a test. Now off camera, in a separate trip, I went and I replaced the plug that, you know, pushed the cord out. I went for one of these right angle plugs. Okay, we have power. Let's see if it works.